So thank you, Mheshimiwa. It's been a long year, of course, with you moving up and down. How has it been generally?
Actually, sometimes I say I had, for a moment I thought I was a foreigner in my own country. Because of the number of trips and the different missions that we had to undertake. Yeah, but
you're moving from country to country.
Country to country, different issues, different topics. But at the end of the day, I think I would say it has been a very eventful year. Of course, in between, we were hit very hard when we lost Raila Odinga.
Sure.
Yeah, because it definitely had its impact on several issues. Both local politics and national.
Yes.
And also international issues were affected by that, as insofar as they relate to Kenya.
Yeah. You have had a number of trips in and out of the country, of course, trying to get the foreign policies right and trying to put Kenya on the map that it's supposed to be on. What is your takeaway, the biggest assignment you think you've actually handled this year?
Well, perhaps before we go on that, I just want to remind Kenyans, for the first time,
yes,
we got Kenya's foreign policy endorsed by Parliament. We went through a process of public participation, wrote the policy, then had it tabled in Parliament. It also went through the committee, and they did a relevant departmental committee.
Yes.
And in Kenya's history, you have the foreign policy documented. Sessional paper number 1 of 2025 is actually a holistic view of Kenya's foreign policy. Right? So today, if you wanted to answer some issues, they are now documented. For instance, it's no longer a secret. Kenya believes in a two-state solution for the Middle East.
Yeah.
And it's in the sessional paper. All right? So it's no longer vague. It's very clear.
Yeah.
Another issue that one can, for instance, Kenya has endorsed the One China policy.
Okay.
It's in the sessional paper. So it's no longer a vague issue. So to a certain extent, these are issues that are now there. They're in the public domain. Everybody knows what we stand for.
Yeah.
Now, I think some of the challenging issues this year were the Haiti question.
Okay.
Because we had a mission of almost 1,000 people out there. We suffered some casualties. The other day you saw a contingent of about 230 police officers coming home, and then we had to replace them with another 200, the rotational issue.
Yeah.
But significant is that the UN passed another resolution to bring in the gang suppression force. And at the same time, they did acknowledge that Kenya had played a very pivotal role in helping bring some measure of security and stability in Haiti, to the extent that schools were being opened, hospitals were now becoming functional. And in terms of the human rights record, for the entire period that the Kenya police force has been in Haiti,
Yes.
not a single allegation of a human rights breach has been leveled against our police force. You know, that is something that we can say is so significant and we can be proud of. So the recognition from the international arena that when Kenya is called upon to engage in some kind of peace, international peace effort,
Yes.
they do a good job. We have, over the years, been involved with about 43, almost 50 peace missions in different parts globally.
How did you feel when that is becoming successful, but Kenyans at home, some section feel we're trying to make peace outside when within our borders we still have challenges? Look at the banditry issues in Kenya. And so some critics would say we are taking our troops to Haiti to control peace and make sure that they're peaceful. But back at home, we still have a challenge. How does that make you feel?
It depends on how you contextualize this,
Yeah.
because it doesn't mean that there are no criminal elements in these countries. I mean, if you are handling the US and they're involved in a peacekeeping mission, that doesn't mean that there are no criminal elements in the US or any other country for that matter. So we tackle the criminal issues here in accordance with the law. We tackle banditry and so forth, and even on the local scene. Let's face it, there's been a measure of success. If you went to sections of the Rift Valley where the bandits had become a very big menace, the reality is that most schools have been reopened and others have been built, you know, which is also a good sign to some extent. I'm not saying that everything has been eradicated, but it's good. We have seen less cases of cattle rustling, okay? But that doesn't mean that we have wiped out criminals, no. We'll always face challenges.
On the same note, Mheshimiwa, when we talk about the discipline of our police officers abroad, which we really need to give it to them. They have done a good job, of course. We have not had the cases, as you have said. But Kenyans would also wonder of what happens with their own police, own Kenyans at home. So outside, well-behaved. In Kenya, we have seen police excesses. What does that speak about, that contradiction?
The truth is we have seen some excesses here. But out of a force that is more than 200,000 police officers, how many cases would you really single out?
Could be a small margin, but life is being lost.
No, it's a small margin. But what I'm trying to say is that the scale of what we talk about is perhaps being over magnified. Okay. And we may need to remember that in every institution of that nature, you will definitely have a few who are excessive in their approach. And I want to give examples. I'm not saying that two wrongs make a right. All right?
Okay.
But we have seen, for instance, in the US, for instance, there are police officers who have sometimes gone overboard. And they are then handled through the police way or through courts. And equally here, where police officers or any security person has gone overboard and they are identified, they are normally dealt with. Some find that, depending on the nature of the case, either it's dismissal or some go to court and they could face jail terms. So it depends on the nature of it. But all I'm saying is that the process of ensuring that discipline is maintained, it's a continuous process. We must not let our guard down. And that is why it's important that we have the IPOA. Mm-hmm. Okay. We also have the NPS itself. We have entities that look at matters of human rights. I can say all these players must be active at any one time. And even as we induct young people into the police service, I can tell you without blinking that one of the key aspects of it is to ensure that there is discipline, respect for the law, and respect for human life.
But with that, when you hear sentiments, just around the police, before we move to the next question, when we hear sentiments of what you're saying, the police, they have to follow the law, and you are working as a government to make sure that that is done. Mm. What did you take about two comments that were made by one who is your senior, the president, who talked about police officers being given an okay to shoot Kenyans in the leg, and then number two, when the interior CS, Murkomen, told the police, "We shall protect you." What did you take from the two comments of those leaders?
Well, sometimes there could be a spur of the moment comment,
okay,
which once in a while you can make. But perhaps let's look at, let's try and interpret what they really meant, or what was the import of this. You know, for instance, if you say we shall protect the police, you're also trying to encourage them to do their job, knowing that as long as they're doing it within the legal requirements, then they shall not be victimized or unduly.
But legal, sir, when you say piga or risasi.
No. But you see, I've also said in what context.
Yeah.
Okay? And on the other one, as I said, it could be a spur of the comment. But if I recollect, I think the president did qualify his remarks, because he was saying that, look, we have to. What do you do when it's a life-threatening situation against somebody else, and you're using all other means and the person is not listening? Okay. At what point do you determine what is excessive force and what is reasonable force? These are the questions that we need to reflect when we talk about
we
this.
We never saw you make almost a similar statement, but you also talked about Gen Zs following the law and the police officers.
Once the statement had been made, there was no need to have a second statement to it.
Let's get back to other matters. There are reports that Kenyans are being abducted, detained in Tanzania and Uganda. Of course, we had reports in Uganda, which you came through. You gave a statement, you followed up. But why would it take all those days for Kenyans to be in custody in Uganda? Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, all those days.
I think that's a question that I would say we try to deal with diplomatically, because we got them out. First of all, that is what I feel was critical, that we were able to engage the Ugandan authorities and they were released.
But after how long, sir?
Well,
it took them a little bit long, because
yes. But you see, these are some of the questions. Whether it is 1 day or 2 days or whatever, it's something that we have to worry about from time to time.
Yeah.
But I think we have reached a moment now that they are safely in their home.
Yes.
You know, and they are enjoying the freedom of Kenya.
Yes.
And they are walking about without any inhibition.
Yeah.
I think we now need, as a nation, to also reflect on the other side of the coin.
Okay.
Okay? The other side of the coin is, how do you respect the legal framework in a different country? What do you do? Because Kenya is Kenya.
Yeah.
Our constitution is Kenyan.
But what they were doing is within East African agreement.
And each nation still has its constitution. And each nation has still got its legal framework. We have to realize that. We may not like it,
Yeah.
okay, but it is the reality. The principle of sovereignty was not negated when we entered into the East African community.
What does this speak about our relationship as the East African community? Because look at what happened in Tanzania during the elections. Of course, people have faulted the election. Can we have a session where we have the three countries coming together, or the East African community as a whole, coming together and making a declaration on human rights? Because the torture these guys went through while in Uganda, and also the torture where Boniface Mwangi and the likes went through in Tanzania, it still breaches the treaty that these countries agree on, and even the anthem.
I think the issue that we have to look at is that human rights violations should not be accepted.
Good.
All right? That one we maintain. And we've always, even when we were looking for this, we were saying we are concerned about their welfare and about their lives. All right? So that's a given. And within the framework of the East African community, there are processes that we talk about, processes that we can share. But Kamaliki, let me tell you.
Yes.
We have to engage diplomatically. As much as people may not like what I'm saying, because sometimes people want to take it like a flimsy issue. We have to handle these matters diplomatically. The alternative is to try and use force. When countries use force between each other, what does that mean?
War.
Right. We can't go to war. All right? So we have to engage diplomatically.
Do we have any existing bilateral agreements with Tanzania and Uganda on security cooperations?
Yes, we have.
Are they effective right now?
Yes. They are. I mean, with these countries, there's a lot of cooperation on matters of counter-terrorism, terrorism, any threats to security, sharing of information. If, for instance, we got wind of somebody who is a terrorist, he has the possibility, we have to share that information with our neighbors, depending on where they are going. Yeah, so definitely there are cooperation agreements. Yes.
Let's move on to another serious issue that has really been across the country when it comes to Russia and the recruitment. We have, first of all, let me say a good job that you did to make sure that the 18 Kenyans came back to the country. We are asking a question: what is the problem with the agents? These people who are recruiting people, is it that we don't have the capacity to get hold of them? Because we have had these narratives: we shall bring the agents to accountability, we shall make sure that they follow the law, they'll not export people like they do, something they term as slavery or something. And then we find out that Kenyans who are the war, the front line of war in Russia. Did the government know about this until the media exposed that?
First of all, let me say this, that if we had a utopian state, then all the jobs would be found in Kenya. But Kenya is not utopia. And no nation is utopia. So some jobs will be found here, and people will also get opportunities elsewhere. It's a global labor market, so to speak. Okay? So we talk of productive mobility of labor. People coming into Kenya, they work. Kenyans going to other countries, and they work. These are opportunities that must be given and accorded to citizens globally.
Yes.
But within the right legal framework. So that is one point that we need to appreciate. The government of Kenya has set up the Ministry of Labor. It has the Department of Diaspora, and it has the National Employment Agency. All these entities, institutional, funded by the taxpayer, have the responsibility, amongst other things, of offering advice to Kenyans about the integrity of the job opportunities that they are getting from another place. It is their duty, and the taxpayer pays for it.
Yes.
Okay? So we are asking Kenyans that when you get an opportunity outside, or it is your desire to get an opportunity outside, there are free services to help you interrogate where you're going, the person or institution offering you the job, what kind of situation you're going to be in. Okay?
Yeah.
So these services are there for Kenyans. In the case of Russia, there were people who operated with a sinister motive. They lured Kenyans, basically promising them milk and honey, but in the process, they were exploiting unsuspecting Kenyans. Okay? So our intervention has been to try and get them out of the dilemma they are in. Now, how did they get themselves in this dilemma? They can only answer individually. Because were they called directly? Were they lured? Because the truth of the matter is that most of them were not even indicating to the government of Kenya that they have been offered such jobs. If you want to travel, you'll go to an embassy, your visa will be processed. But the government of Kenya is not obligated to know where you're going. It's up to you to choose to inform the mission in Moscow that I am a Kenyan, I am coming, these are my details. This information was not being availed. And we have extreme cases where some of the individuals did not even inform their own family members. They hid this information from their own family members, let alone the government. All right? So we are now being faced with a situation where there are alarm signals. You know, alarm bells are ringing, saying, hey, we are here. Not Christmas bells. But alarm bells are ringing that we are here, stranded.
Yes.
We need help. Okay? So the government has to try and do what it can.
Yeah.
And that is how we brought the 18. And we are trying to figure out the others who may still be lacking in that awkward situation. Once we get a distress signal, we try to...
How many people have been arrested in conjunction with that?
In Athi River, there was a group that was arrested. Yeah, and in fact, they were holding about 21 Kenyans that they wanted to ship out.
Can we confirm there is that slavery trade targeting Kenyans? Because if you say they were holding 21, they were supposed to ship them out.
I don't. You see, this challenge is affecting other African countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to single out Kenya as the only target, because if you follow, there was an incident. I think even some South Africans were caught in the same kind of web. Some West Africans have been caught in the same kind of web. So it's a syndicate. It's a racket. Okay. So it is for us to share information amongst African countries, so that everybody is aware that not everybody who comes to offer these opportunities is playing a clean game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go to a specific case that I covered of Martin from Kiambu, who was killed and his body is said to be at the Warzone in Ukraine. And the family actually also informed that they reached out to your department and trying to seek how they can repatriate the body back to Kenya. Do you know of that case? And if so, how many Kenyans do you have information about who have died at the war front and they should come back home?
We don't have that statistic. Remember, it's still a war zone.
Yeah.
Okay. And even our president did communicate to the Ukrainian authorities, indicating that there could be Kenyans there, and if they are prisoners of war, he was trying to send a message that they be released and repatriated back to Kenya. As to the actual casualties, I think it would be wrong for me to give you a figure. As I said, it's a war zone. It may not be easily accessible. And I can only say to the families that it's a difficult situation, but we will try our best through the diplomatic channels to try and be of help in either getting the ones who are alive back, or in the case of a situation where maybe there's a mishap, to see whether at some stage later the remains can be repatriated. Yes.
Do we have laws that you set to put in place to help in monitoring systems that can help curb human trafficking and forced recruitment?
Of course, the laws are there, but experience is showing us that we need to tighten some of these other areas. That's why I'm saying we're bringing in amendments to the bill on migration.
Yes.
Yeah, which will help in sealing some of the loopholes that have been exploited. So going forward, hopefully we can mitigate this. But human trafficking,
yes,
globally is a very serious matter. Okay, so we may be talking today about the Russia-Ukraine situation, but we are also facing serious challenges in some other countries in the Asian realm. You know, again, people are lured thinking that they're going to get good jobs, and once they land there, you hear stories of their passports are taken, their travel documents and whatever is confiscated, and they are denied access to phones and all that. So we are appealing to Kenyans that be careful, and that's why I said that these institutions are there to help you, so that they can give you an indication of red zones, amber, and green zones.
Green zones, yeah.
Yeah, it's important.
I want us to talk about Sudan. Kenya being at the center of mediation and looking at what is happening right now, what role are we playing, and have we done enough, or what are we going to do as a country? Put into mind that the RSF is said to be, messing up with evidence, burning bodies, according to reports that have been there even in the media yesterday.
You can only help people who are willing to be helped.
Okay.
All right. That's one important, simple but important principle.
Yeah.
Because if you have a situation where people believe that a military solution is the only answer, and it's over 3 years, and there's no solution in sight, then clearly we are dealing with a very difficult group of people. Okay? Whether it is RSF or SAF, both these leaders at one time were invited here in Kenya.
Yeah, we saw the president meet the RSF also.
And he also met the other one of SAF. Yes, he has met both. All right? It's even-handed. Because there's always a notion that he met one side and he didn't meet the other.
It depends with what
Yes,
the other one was launching.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that it was even-handed. There's the framework of IGAD.
Okay.
Okay? The SAF government pulled out of IGAD. They said they didn't want to participate. And the meeting was taking place in Uganda, where all IGAD member states were there.
Yes.
And then they didn't turn up. All right? So there's a chronology of events, whether on this side or this other side, where you will see some very interesting patterns from both sides. So the point here is that there is the initiative from the Quad, United States, Egypt, Saudi, and UAE. They even issued a statement. There's the Jeddah process. Which we hope may perhaps provide the platform. Because again, these entities in Sudan have ignored the African Union.
Okay.
Okay. They have ignored the African Union. Because there was a framework under the African Union for which dialogue could be established. They don't want to follow that path. So there's this Jeddah process, an initiative that is away from the continent, Macu. Okay. But they say they want to talk to it on and off, but we hope they can again talk to it properly. And it's in this spirit that the President of Kenya recently, when witnessing the Washington Accord between Rwanda and DRC, he made a public appeal that now that the United States has played a pivotal role on the DRC Rwanda, it would be good if the same kind of effort can be applied to the Sudan situation.
What is Kenya's positions on that? Maybe a message to them, and also what can Kenyans learn from what is happening in Sudan? Putting into consideration what we've seen, a revolt and a revolution with the GNZ's movement on the streets. I mean, do we learn any lesson from that?
I think we should learn lessons that democracy is very important. And Kenya, since we got independence,
yes,
we have consistently held elections every 5 years. Don't undermine that. It is a brand. It is a brand.
Are they credible elections?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And where there have been doubts, we have institutions.
But you've even doubted those institutions some time back.
No, not me. Not me. I mean, the opinion of somebody's opinion is valid, but let's face it.
Okay.
Which other country have you ever seen a presidential election nullified?
It's only Kenya.
And even after it was nullified, people went back to an election.
Yeah.
It was a test to our institutions, by the way. A very serious test. And a very serious test to the people of Kenya also. That in spite of all that, they did not fall over the cliff. Now, that is where our strength lies as a nation. That is why we must always consolidate and improve our institutions, but we have them. So that when you are unhappy about a government, use the ballot to change the government. when you remove somebody from the barracks and you go back and see the history of what is happening in Sudan.
Yeah.
The moment, many years ago, the moment they changed their government and then it had successful generals from the military coming in, including Bashir. It has hurt them. But Kenya has always had a civilian government through the ballot.
Let's put that aside. Let me first of all congratulate you. How was Malava?
It was good. Malava was good. I think. I think it's. It was a moment where the people of Malava made a decision in a democratic process, and I'm happy for the Kenya Kwanza side, the UDA. We campaigned and we got the seat through David Ndakwa. I congratulate him. He's the new MP for Malava. Now, it was also an opportunity for me to say that it also burst the bubble.
Okay.
You know, there were some political narratives that were going around and people pretending that there are new messiahs in town, political messiahs.
There were new messiahs in town. You even stood on a vehicle and told them, "We are coming for you."
Yes, because I was trying to tell them that we were patient with you. We allowed you to do what you did, but you are just a bubble. You know?
Do you think there are still bubbles ahead of 2027?
In politics, you'll always come across them.
Yeah?
Yeah. You'll always come across them.
You cannot be calling Natembeya a bubble. He gave you the run for the money. You know, there's 20,000 votes against 23,000.
He was not running against me. They went to Malava. They were not addressing Malava politics.
Okay.
They were trying to use it as a platform to fight against Musalia or to fight against. It was, you missed the point. Okay? Their narrative was not about Malava.
But I think they said your name more times than
whatever.
What they said about you.
For the popularity that they gave me there, I thank them. For keeping my name alive on the lips of the people of Malava, I thank them. But the truth of the matter is that it seems the people of Malava were the least of their worries.
You know,
because Malava wanted roads, Malava wanted this, and those are the things that we talked about. Improving the education of the people of Malava. But these guys would stand on a platform and say, finish so-and-so, finish so-and-so. So the voters ended up wondering, was it about those people or was it about Malava? And I can only encourage them to continue making similar mistakes as we go forward.
You still insist Natembeya is a one-term, as you said in Malava.
Look at me.
I'm looking at you, sir.
He will not leave Trans Nzoia. He'll be campaigning there very hard. There'll be a candidate who will give him a run for his money.
Which candidate?
Wait for 2027.
Susan Omecha?
Wait for 2027.
Give us a hint.
Our party has a nomination process.
But they said you influenced and did away with...
It was a nomination process. There were 5 candidates on the UDA ticket. Unfortunately, one of them passed away.
Yeah.
There remained 4. They went through a nomination process. Secret ballot.
Ryan Injendi is on record saying Musalia is the reason to why he didn't make it to the... He wanted Ndakwa. He's on record, sir.
Ryan is a very good young man. He's going to represent us in South Africa. He's going to be our trade attaché in South Africa. I want him to do well and to support our country, and I have confidence that he'll do so.
But they say you and your brother Wetangula, that's what the bubbles say, as you put it in your words, that you and Wetangula are the reasons to why Luyas are lagging behind.
Is that true? I mean, even in anybody's right sense of mind, is that possible? Is it possible?
But that's what he says.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is...
Do you put Luyas when you're having this cake? Do you have them in your mind?
But the point I'm trying to put across is that it is the most ridiculous assertion that one can make.
Yeah, the reasons to why we are house girls and watchmen. Yeah, the two of you, if you get out of the way, probably...
I mean, tell me, before I was born, were Luyas also working as domestic staff? They were. They're working in households. I mean, that's a ridiculous accusation. Let's be realistic in these things.
Yeah.
And in any case, let's put it this way. Because this was a comment made by Joseph Kamotho many years ago. All right? I was a very, very young politician when he made this this comment. It was an unfortunate comment, trying to stereotype a community. Okay? But the flip side of it is this. Let's respect every job. And that's the message we told Kamotho. Whether you're a watchman, a security guard, whether you're a domestic worker, whether you're a chef, whether you're a cook, let us respect these jobs. They put food on the table for people. But it may look like a simple argument, but the point I'm trying to say is this. I do not buy this argument of trying to disparage people because of the job that they do. If we want to talk about development, let's talk about development and say we need roads, we need whatever. Let's talk about that. Let us talk about the need to have more hospitals. Because whether you're a cook or a watchman, you also need a hospital.
That brings me closer home.
So Kamaliki, we must actually call these people out now.
Yeah.
It's about time we started talking about these things in a more serious manner.
Yeah.
All right? Not to think that we must strategize as a region. Other communities are strategizing. So we must, but we cannot continue with this petty politics of trying to say Musalia is a kingpin, who is a kingpin, who is what. You know, let me tell you, if development comes, first of all, we are talking about a region. If it comes to a region, I'll be the happiest person.
But you should bring it. You should take it to the region.
Yes, and to bring it, we work with the government. We influence the budget process. We influence more resources and programs going there. That is why today, this road that we are using to go to Western,
the
Rironi Road, we have been pushing until there was a groundbreaking so that the process of dueling it can start.
I was in your area at that time. Mululu is also done.
It's being done.
Yeah.
It's being done. And other parts of the country are also being done. We want to see the Lapset one going all the way to South Sudan. That would be another corridor, another artery. We are seeing further expansion of the one going to to Thika, also in the pipeline. I mean, to Nyeri and what have you. You can see what the road network has done to the economies of those regions. The farm produce, the avocados, the coffee. The lead time from the farm gate to the factory or to the cooling plant or whatever has become shorter. Better earnings for the people. These are the things we need to look at critically. But we are getting lost in unnecessary supremacy battles.
What do you think Natembeya should do to make sure that Western comes together ahead of 2027?
I think he should focus on working for the people of Trans Nzoia. He was elected. He was given a mandate. Are all the hospitals working? Or was it the other day that I was seeing in your media houses about people complaining that their hospitals are closed in Trans Nzoia? What was I seeing?
He also spent zero on the last 3 months on development.
Yeah, the inquiries were being made in Senate.
But your own hospital in Vihiga is also troubled. Vihiga Referral Hospital, it's in a worst state.
Yes,
sir.
it is. It is.
What measures, as a son of the soil?
But I've been pushing. We are trying to improve it.
Okay.
But you must also remember.
Yes.
These questions you ask me, do you ever ask the MPs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the budgetary allocation, the resources and what have you, are in Parliament. Parliament allocates.
Okay.
All right? We are collective as leaders. I will take the portion of my responsibility to lobby at a certain level, but I also expect the others to do their.
But you see, sir, I expect you being a son of the soil, if things are not working, I would expect you called a meeting with the MPs, had a discussion with them, even the governors.
This is what we talk about all the time. We meet, we talk, we push each other.
But
we prod each other.
Yeah, but we see nothing, especially Vihiga. Vihiga Referral Hospital is...
You will see a difference. You will see a difference.
Okay.
Yeah, take it from me.
Now, critics say Musalia has changed from being a reformist and now he just feels comfortable in government. People feel as long as he's in government, that's okay. He's not the reformist we need, the changes you brought in finance and everything. Critics are saying, bora uko kwa serikali, you're okay.
In this country,
yes.
Can you tell me of a politician who refused a nomination seat openly? The first one.
I'm listening. Mm-hmm.
I, Musalia Mudavadi, turned down a nomination because a decision had been made in Sabatia. They didn't vote me in. Kanu tried to nominate me, and I said no. My conscience does not allow me to go back to Parliament and get a free job, even if the salary is over 1 million shillings.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me any other Kenyan who has turned it down. You're facing at somebody who refused a job openly, out of principle.
The principle of?
Saying that if it is not within my conscience, if it's not right, I'm not going to do it. Plain and simple.
2027, I know you.
2027, I've made a decision, and I've pronounced it. I've gone public.
Stutam.
We support Ruto. He's going to be elected for his
after 2027.
After 2027, let's have that conversation here. I'll invite you.
So you haven't, the only thing you haven't gotten the president. And now look at it. Mount Kenya is look like it's flipping.
Mm-hmm.
And probably critics say Ruto might be looking into Western Kenya, getting in there. And 2027 looks like there might be a deputy to Ruto who might then become a president in future. Do you think it's something you can...
There's nowhere where it is guaranteed or written in law that the deputy to a president is the one that automatically becomes the successor. It's not in any constitutional provision.
Yeah.
It's not.
So you can succeed Ruto even if you are not his deputy.
Even if you are not his deputy, you can get it.
Let's say he decides, you know, Musalia is that man who's worked, because we've seen you move around countries and policy and foreign. And it looks like he really trusts you and says, let me make him my deputy, or UDA decides Musalia becomes a deputy to Ruto in 2027. Are you going to take that position?
We don't want to speculate on a decision that is yet to come. But as far as I'm concerned, that will be the prerogative of the president or the party at that time. But as things stand now, my focus is on one issue: the re-election of President William Ruto.
And of course, getting
in
that
2027.
You look at being the president. What is the mathematics that you guys are going to put into place?
At the end of the day,
yeah,
it's the programs that we put in place and what we achieve in terms of development. That is key.
Yeah.
All right. The ultimate good is not just about re-election. The ultimate good is improving the lives and welfare of Kenyans. That is the ultimate good. All right. We transit. The positions we are in are transitions.
Yeah.
But the ultimate goal is, can we improve the well-being of every Kenyan? And I mean well-being in every sense of the word. That is my biggest ambition. The position of presidency can help you drive the agenda towards that objective. It's one way of helping to push that. Okay. But ultimately, it is a collective where people work together, Kenyans work together for that goal.
I wouldn't conclude this interview without talking about corruption. State House has been flagged by the control of budget several times about the money they spend on printing and everything. Government departments have been that. Corruption in this country, someone was saying, if Kenya is still on its, it's still standing after all these corruption scandals, then that means we have a hard-working nation. But the biggest thing, the elephant in the room in this country, is corruption. How would you rate this, the government you serve, in terms of fighting corruption for the last 3 years?
First of all, let me say that the Auditor General points out a lot of things about government. So that they either qualify your accounts or they do not qualify the accounts. That is what the auditor does. And they can point out whether there is proper use of resources or not. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to investigating whether there is corruption or not, there are entities that undertake that task, the ethics and anti-corruption and so forth. They will do their bit. And where there is evidence, they take people to court. And to the best of my recollection, they've been doing so. And they continue to do so, and they should do so. Perhaps what you might argue about is the pace at which it is done. Okay? Because people would like to see a hurried process. But a hurried process has got its own pitfalls on how you get to court. Because if you don't do the investigations properly, the matter will collapse in court. So there's a process on that particular side. But all these institutions, the watchdog committees of parliament, the audit entities, they all have to flag this so that collectively we can start sealing loopholes and taking action against those who have not done their job properly. All these issues about State House or what have you, I think one in this context is being unfair. All right? when I say unfair, is that is a public entity. Resources are used. Whether it is for renovation and what have you, they are used. There's an accounting officer. And these are entities that will remain as property of Kenya. They're not personal. State House is not going to be uprooted from where it is and taken to Sugoi. State House is not going to be uprooted and taken to Molulu. It remains a public property, a public asset. It was there since independence. In fact, before independence, only that it was called the governor's residence. It was there during Jomo Kenyatta. He's gone, Jomo Kenyatta. Moi came, he's gone, State House remains there. Kibaki came, he's gone, State House remains there. Uhuru came, he's still with us, State House is there. Ruto is there, he'll finish his tour of duty, State House will remain. The truth of the matter is that we must fight corruption. Okay?
As a PCS in charge of all these people.
And we must strengthen our institutions. So the question is it a rule of thumb that they must be allocated almost the same amount, or is there a proper needs assessment for these institutions to become better?
Where does that begin?
It begins in Parliament. It has to also look at Parliament as well.
When you have parliamentary meetings, do you talk to them about that?
Oh yes.
Then why are not
and I've even made comments on this publicly, that I think to fight corruption we need to ensure that the institutions that are watchdogs in society, are strengthened through resources. There are some positive things that are being done. For instance, we are increasing the number of judges, strengthening the bench. They've been allocated a little more so that they can also modernize and also hire more people to be able to determine cases. So these are positives that can help us in dealing with the issue of corruption. The other thing is technology. The more we improve on technology and its use in public space, in the economy and so forth, again, the better it becomes when it comes to tackling this. Now, in terms of legislation, there are some positives. For the NGOs, we brought the public benefits law, which focuses on NGOs, how they use their money and how they should account for it. It was never there before. We have brought in strengthening of the Money Laundering Act, the Anti-Money Laundering Act. It's being strengthened. We've brought in the Conflict of Interest Bill, which was not there, which means you have to declare if you have an interest before it was not there.
Is it happening?
Okay. We brought the law on the virtual assets. When you look at all these laws, there are laws that are being pushed, brought in by this government, and then getting them to be dealt with through Parliament, so that there's a legal basis to be able to fight corruption.
So for the 3 years, how would you rate the government performance when fighting corruption out of 100%?
I don't know whether I should give it a percentage, but I can tell you that we're doing better. Yes, we're doing better.
Okay, let me go to the last question around you're the guy who, the man who came with code, NASA, how is the earthquake. Chama yetu ya ANC, ama chama ANC, watu wanasema you sold the party. And now, what is the vehicle in future? Now there's ODM, imebaki pale. Why don't you take over?
UDA is the vehicle. I mean, UDA.
So where is the ANC?
My ambitions, my politics will be in UDA.
You can...
It's a party, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what makes you think that I can't do politics in UDA?
Where do you live, ODM? You know, this is like where you have been. Can you also bring them in?
I left ODM much earlier.
No, Baba is...
No. I'm in UDA.
Tumesikia Western leaders wakisema Baba sasa, because Mudavadi was with Raila, and now Raila has rested. Mudavadi can be Baba and take over from where Raila left.
I can still serve the people of Western and the people of Kenya through UDA.
Thank you so much, sir.
but let me just come back to something which a little bit about. I think we talked briefly about this when we were talking of people facing challenges in different countries. You know, one of the things I've been saying constantly is that, and this is more to the young people like yourself and many others out there. I've been saying that the moment you board a plane and the wheels are up, remember the law that will come into force is the law of the country where you land. The moment you're outside Kenya's airspace, it is that law that comes into play. I am saying this because we need to help our young people realize that be careful. We value you. We want you to prosper. But remember that always obey the law. It's absolutely essential. Kamaliki, when does personal transgression become the collective guilt of a nation of Kenya? If somebody migrates from here and they go and commit a robbery in the US or assault somebody in the US, does that become the collective guilt of our country? Or is it personal transgression?
The personal one.
This message needs to sink. So this message is important. And then also, the second side of it is this. Kenyans have always had a good name. We have a brand. That is why there has been a high demand for Kenyans to take up opportunities. You know, even though we have had some bad incidents, but there's been a high demand. Why? Because Kenyans have a brand. They are seen as hardworking. They are seen as respectable. They are seen as people who have good skills. Why should we allow a few people to ruin this brand? So I'm appealing to the young people. Maintain your brand. Safeguard your brand as you go out there. Kenya is dependent on you safeguarding that. Remember what Kennedy said? Ask not what the country has done for you.
It's what you have done for your country.
It is what you have done for your country.
I want you to talk to Gen Zs as their father.
Yes.
We have seen what happens online when they come out, ask questions. We saw what happened last year in June, which was regrettable. And now elections are coming, and there's still that muddy water around. Talk to the Gen Zs as their father.
Well, I think partly I've said so. especially when I've just been talking to the brand issue. I was really targeting my communication so that I'm trying to talk to the young people. I'm trying to tell them that your brand matters. Okay. And when it comes to the stability of your country, don't undermine it.
Okay.
There's a good chance to change things through the ballot in a democratic way. That's the better way to go. Countries that have not gone through that are steeped in war. Okay? We don't want to go in that direction. The other thing that I would just want to encourage also, be careful with your social media footprint. It's no longer a joke. There used to be the issue that the internet does not forget. It is now come into play. There are a number of countries, the US has made it public, that they look for your social media account over the last 5 years and see how you have been behaving. You could either make or break your career, depending on how you use your platforms.
Thank you so much.
But I also want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
In fact, that's what I was going to. I want you to just say, my name is Musalia Mudavadi, then give a message of Christmas to Kenyans looking at the camera there.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Musalia Mudavadi. Sometimes you call me my DVD. Let me take this opportunity to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. The year 2026 should be a year that makes a difference in your life, a difference for the better. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for taking time to be with us. Thank you for being patient with us as well. And we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I know it's been a long year for you, moving up and down. And of course, can't wait to see you back on 26th. You know the meeting point.
Asante sana.
Asante.